Aloha gang, Michael Mazzella here. Hope you're having a great day. I want to introduce this video to you. This video is going to show you how to use my flip analysis spreadsheet. Now, unlike the deal analysis spreadsheet, which works for any type of deal, the flip analysis spreadsheet is something that I developed just for my company use. This was an internal use document that I use and my employees use for flips. So this is good only for the house flip strategy, for a buy, fix, sell. Now that said, it's very easy to use, it's fast, and it's dead on accurate. So this is what we use, and when it's the predominant strategy like it is on Oahu right now, when buy, fix, sells or the strategy that we're doing, we use the flip analysis spreadsheet. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and this is for you. So here is the flip analysis spreadsheet. If you can follow my mouse, you'll see check the version number up here. You should have at least version 5.0. It is late July of 2014, and I just released version 5.0. You should be using at least that one, the flip analysis spreadsheet. And I just want to give you a quick overview. I got it really small here so you can see most of the whole sheet. We've got a heading section up here, notes section. I'll throw a photo of the property in, and then we've got some major sections here. So this section is the purchase price with all of the associated closing costs. Okay, then the second section we're going to put our inputs will be for fix-up costs. These are our renovation costs in this area. And then these down here are the holding costs and, the monthly holding costs. What does it cost us to hold this property for a month, mostly utilities, and then times the number of months that we expect to hold the property. Okay, and then down here is our resale. Now we're going to enter the market. We're done. We've renovated the property. So here is our after repair value, our ARV. This is the resale price that we're going for, and then the associated costs when we exit. So these are closing costs. It includes realtor commissions and different closing costs at the exit. Okay, we're exiting obviously at a higher price, so our closing costs are going to be a little higher. And then down here, this will be the net proceeds we get from the sale. Then we subtract out if we have any interest due, if we did any seller financing, or you've got a lender, we're going to subtract out what we pay the lender, leaving a balance, and that's what we would get. This is our profit, and then we have an ROI down at the very bottom. Okay, so that's how the sheet is laid out. Now let's go ahead and take a closer look at this. We'll go to 150. There we go. Now let me see what 200 looks like. Okay, let's do 200. Look how nice that is. Okay, so here's how I fill the sheet out. I'm going to start up here with property info. I'll put the address of the property. I will also put number of bedrooms and bathrooms, and then the square footage of living space. I will also put right here the estimated holding time. And again, check your version and make sure you got the latest software. Note that going down this spreadsheet, we have two columns. So you can run two different scenarios. So this is my A scenario, meaning that this is the one I'm trying to nail this one and get as most accurate information that I can. And then that leaves me another column if I want to run an alternate scenario. What if I pay a little bit more? What if it stays on the market a little bit longer? Or if I don't sell at the price I was hoping, what if it sells a little bit lower? So then I can run alternate scenarios and some what-if scenarios in this second column, okay? The one we're going to focus on, of course, will be the A column, all right? And then over here, this is the notes section. So this will kind of help me just get up to speed quickly on this deal compared to the other deals I'm working on. I may have quite a few of these different spreadsheets at any one time, so I don't want to forget this information. It includes if somebody found the deal, if I had a wholesaler or a bird dog or a realtor, here is the initial asking price. This will be my offer. and then any terms that I negotiated with the seller. If I had one lender in place or two lenders in place, or sometimes I'll fund a deal myself or I'll fund part of the deal. So I'm going to add the lender information there too. And then I'll also throw in a picture of the property, usually a curb appeal picture, just for a quick reference so I can mentally associate, as I pull up the spreadsheet, which property it is that I'm working on. Okay? Now, so we're going to start with the first section here. This is the purchase price and also costs associated with our initial closing costs when we purchase. So I'm going to plug in a price right here. This is what I want to pay, or this will be my offer price. And I could, like I said, we've got a couple of different columns, so you can run some different scenarios to see which one is going to work the best for you. Now I'm going to show you a really fast way to come up with your closing costs, to estimate closing costs when we're buying the property and then later on when we exit from the deal and sell the property. Here's how I do it really fast and dead on accurate. Okay, so now I'm on my web browser and I jump over to OahuRE, which is our main and our old reliable MLS search website. So I'm going to, my purchase price is going to be $340, and I'm going to select a region. We'll select Metro, that's in town in Waikiki. So if my buy price is $340, I'm going to set a minimum price of $300, a maximum price of $400, just to narrow down this screen of MLS one-liners here. So what I'm looking for now is, this column is the original price, but what I'm looking for now is the current price. And I'm going to scroll down and look for something that recently sold or is now being listed right at the same price that I'm buying at. So I am buying at $340, and it looks like, here we go, we've got something right at $340. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and choose one of these. We'll choose this one, $340. We're going to do this one here. Okay, and let's go ahead and scroll down, and what I'm looking for is, we're going to scroll down past the maps right here. Now I'm looking for the closing costs. Here they go. So you see where it says estimated closing costs for buyer right here? So what I'm going to look for are the escrow costs, title insurance, and I'm gonna pull out and extrapolate right from this, a similarly priced unit that just sold, the same price as mine, and these are the closing costs. I'm going to use these as my closing costs, and they're going to be very accurate. So what I will do is I'll transpose these numbers over onto my spreadsheet. Okay, so now what I have done is I have taken all of the, I filled in my closing costs. So I took these costs straight out of a different property that sold right at $340. And just, one little thing to keep in mind is that if I'm using a condo as an example, but my property is not a condo, then there are certain things that won't apply, like homeowners fees or maybe their lender fees that I know that are not going to apply to me. So basically, when you're extrapolating closing costs from a different property that sold at the same price, just put in what does apply. And now we've nailed it pretty accurately. So now we're done with this. And then down here we've got, this is our total purchase price, including all of our closing costs, okay? And we're pretty confident that that is accurate. So that's why I also filled in the alternate column. That is really not going to change because our closing costs are going to be pretty fixed, okay? So now we'll move down to the next column, the next section, which is our fix-up costs. That'll be the next thing that comes in the process. So our fix-up costs. Now, a couple of ways that we could do this. We go over this in more detail in the mentor course, and also the training video that I made for you on renovating a property. But essentially what we've done here is I I got competitive bids from a couple of my general contractors on this, and I went with the higher one, and I got a bid that is lower than this, but I went with the higher one because for planning purposes, I always want to use the more conservative number. So I'm using a budget. I set the budget at 160,000. You could either do it that way and set a budget, or you can get a detailed breakout from your contractors and then allow the total to be added, to be tallied up there in the subtotals, okay? I went with a budget. All of these line items are going to fit within that budget, okay? And here I put a note to myself to see the renovation plan, which from my contractor based on the scope of work that I laid out for my contractor, and that is how we arrive at the 160. So this part is actually not difficult at all. We're going to just make sure you get competitive bids from more than one, usually from 2 or 3 reliable contractors. And on a bigger job like this, when we're going to spend that much money, 160, make sure that you are using a general contractor so that they could get all the permits, and also make sure that it's going to be done correctly. Okay, so now we're going to jump down to the next section, which is our monthly holding costs. So take a look at this section. These are some of the costs that we expect to incur during the time that we're holding the property, from the time that we close, while we're doing the renovation, when it's up on the market, and then while it's back in escrow while we're waiting for our buyer to sell. We're going to be making payments, going to be electricity, water, sewer, and maybe some other things. So you're going to make an estimate on what those are, and then multiply it by the number of months that we expect to hold. And so be conservative. Usually whatever I figure out, I am going to add at least one extra month. Run one extra month to it. So then down here, it'll tell us our total holding costs, okay? So here you're just taking your best estimate of, insurance, the different utilities, and any other, monthly recurring costs that you'll have. Okay, and another thing I want to point out, you'll see this in a few different places throughout, but wherever you see these little red tick marks, that means that there is a little call-out box that will have different notes on here. For instance, in this particular cell, we're going to use, it says cost to borrow cash, monthly interest. Use this cell only if the lender requires monthly payments. If not, then we're going to jump down near the bottom, and we'll pay the lender at the end. So just wherever you see that, it means that there's some kind of explanation. Okay, so I think that effectively covers this section on monthly holding costs. Okay, so now we're going to move down from monthly holding costs and go into the next section. This is our anticipated resale price, and this is our also known as our after repair value. So the number here that you're going to arrive at, here you see I have 780. I run an alternate if we don't get the price that we expect. This is based on a thorough evaluation of comparables. You've looked at comparable sales by the time you plug this in. And actually, this is one of the most important numbers that you're going to plug into the entire spreadsheet. This is one of your most important inputs. You're going to evaluate comps. You're going to narrow it down to the comps, to the ones that most closely match your subject property, the ones, how your property is going to look after we finish the renovations. And we're going to make sure we're only working with a handful of the very best comparables. And when we go out to look at our property, when we go out and do the site tour, at that point, we're also going to drive by the comps. We're also going to drive by the comparables to validate our comps. That is very, very important. That is how we arrive at this number right here. You're going to plug that number in, and then let's talk about your the sales cost. So these are going to be our closing costs. Now, when we exit from the property, notice it's at a very higher price. Now we're at $780, whereas I bought this particular property in Aiea Heights for $340. And then with the $160 for renovations, I'm all in around $500. Okay, so there is a big difference when we're exiting. Now, because we're selling, we have to pay realtor commissions. So, but rather than just pay a full-on 6%, because we're savvy investors, we never pay that much to have our property sold by realtors. So what I'm doing here, as you can see from this call-out box, is I am offering a 2.5% commission to the buyer's agent, plus a $3,500 flat fee listing to one of our realtors. And if you click on the cell, you'll also see up here, this is my formula. So you can see the formula, okay? So not only do you want to read where you've got these little red ticks for the call-out boxes, now where do we get these costs from? Where is a very accurate way as you know to get our closing costs? Well, once again, we're going to do what I taught you to do earlier, and we're going to jump on the MLS. We're going to look for a property that just sold right around $780,000. So here we go. I went to OahuRE. I'm doing the quick search. We'll jump in and do an instant search. All regions. I'm going to jump over to Pearl City because that's where my area is. And because I'm going to sell, I'm going to enter the market at $780. So let's set the minimum price at $700, maximum price at $800. So you see we have 10 properties that are in that area. So we're going to look for something that is as close as we can get to $780. And here we have one that's exactly, right? There's one that's exactly, it sold exactly at that price. And let's go ahead and click on that. Okay, it takes us to the listing, and I'm going to scroll down. Here we go. And we're going to get to the costs. There we are. So now this time it's going to be estimated closing costs for the seller, okay? So then I'm going to take these numbers here. Now our commission is going to be a little bit different, right? We're not paying 4.5%. What we pay actually, as I explained to you, it comes out to be about 3 to 3.5%, okay? But we have our formula for that, so we can ignore that. But the escrow cost, title insurance, conveyance tax, survey, you know, all of this stuff, we'll go ahead and plug this into our spreadsheet. Okay, so now we have completed this section with our after repair value. We've entered in our realtor costs or modified realtor costs, and we found a property that sold right at 780, and we brought over those closing costs. Okay, so we're pretty accurate now with this block also. So that pretty much gets us to the end here. When the property sells, this is going to be the net proceeds that come to seller. And then here, we're gonna, you may have a couple of other subtractions to make. So this is if you're paying, if you set up some sort of seller financing. In this case, I did not. And then this block down here is important because I do have a lender, so I'm using private money. Now, something I wanted, so the person is going to get their interest, right, before we get paid. We have to pay them their principal back and then also their interest. So I want to show you something over here on the side. Notice in column G, all the way down the spreadsheet, you see this number here. What it's doing is it's running your running totals, the total cash in the deal that's required to do the deal. Okay, this is the total cash required, and it's kind of tallied up right here. So you can see we need total cash needed just off to the side. This is the cash we need to do the deal. And then here we'll write in the amount borrowed. How much are we actually going to borrow? And there's obviously the rest would be our own cash. in this case, in this particular case, I borrowed $300,000 from one of my lenders. Okay, and so this is the interest amount. So if I'm paying my lender 12%, and up here it shows the number of months we expect, right? So 12% of 300,000 is going to be 3,000 a month times 9 months. That's how I arrived at the 27,000. I just broke out my calculator and added that as the interest that I'm going to pay her when the property sells, assuming it sells at 9 months. Okay. Now, what if this number was 500,000, right? So what if I borrowed virtually all of it? Oh, we need another zero there. Okay, so 500,000. And that, which is about all the cash that we need. So then it's going to be 5,000 per month times 9, right? Times 9 months. So then my lender is going to get 45,000, right? And then that changes down at the bottom. So then what's left after we pay off a lender is going to be our profit on the property. So this particular deal is going to net us 197,000, which is 38%. Now keep in mind the 38% is based on the total cash we needed and the profit that we made. And so this is 38% is our ROI for the deal. So if we're going to annualize it, then we would turn the 9 months into 12 months. So we would add another 25% to that. So we're probably looking at about close to 50% ROI if we annualized it. Okay, so it's a pretty sweet deal. So now I have arrived at my conclusion. I'm going to make $197,000 on this deal. Now, if you don't like your results when you run your own deal, you have a few things you can go back and do. Obviously, you're going to have to lower your offer price, okay? And you might be able to see if you can tweak and get some room in your renovations. You're not going to be able to do all the renovations that you thought. You could sometimes get away with doing less and just doing a minimal renovation, okay? And that is really it. It really comes down to those two things. It just means that in most cases you're going to need to lower your offer price until the number down here makes sense. You've got to be able to back out all of your costs no matter what. Okay, so the only other thing that you could really change, like I said, you can make some tweaks to your renovation costs here, but not a whole lot. And then everything else is going to focus on this purchase price. Okay, so there you go. And this, it's a pretty helpful spreadsheet. And then the very last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to save my spreadsheet and do save as, and then I will go ahead and write. What I do is I like to save mine as the address, okay, the street of the property, and I will go ahead and save it that way. I'll click save, and that's it. And then when I open up the next sheet to do a new one, I will save it into the new name of the property, of the new property that I'm analyzing. Okay. Okay, so there's one last thing I'd like to show you, and that's all the way down at the bottom of your sheet when you jump over. Notice that there are some tabs down here, okay, that I've set up, and I've used these over the years, so they're pretty helpful. I just clicked on the expenses tab, and this is a way for us to keep track of everything that we spend going in, even if you have a partner who spends what, so you can just keep track of everything, and then it keeps a tally down at the bottom, and that's very helpful. So what I do is I put these into a Dropbox where both of us can access it, and then at the very end of the deal, we have our accountants access the Dropbox, and they look over everything, okay, to make sure everything is smooth. And then there's another tab here that is a timeline tab, and here I just use this to keep track of the times from the time I find the property, make an offer, get it accepted, open escrow, all the way through getting everything set up. And there's a whole bunch of checks in here, all the typical things that may or may not happen in a deal. Some of the things may be not applicable, but most of them are. You can see with this particular property, it's actually a different property than the one I just trained you on. But here the property is listed. We got it on the MLS. So the next thing that'll happen is we'll have offers come in that we'll accept, and then we go back into the escrow process. Okay. And yeah, so that's what I wanted to show you. There's a couple of other tabs in here too, a lender summary, and where you can keep the comps that you used. Okay. And here on this tab there's a lender summary tab also. And so what you've got here is, if you're gonna run an analysis on your deal and then present a summary to a prospective lender, that's what this is for. You don't need to overload them with all of the numbers that you're looking at. This just kind of makes it short and sweet. You can cut and paste this and send an email over to them just of this particular page. So it gives them the basic things that they need to know without getting them lost in all of the numbers that you are doing in your analysis. So I hope you enjoyed this training video. I hope it was helpful for you, and good luck in your endeavors as a savvy real estate investor. And if I can help you, I'm happy to do that. You give me a call, or if there's any questions about the spreadsheet, feel free to shoot me an email. Okay? Now go out and create an awesome day.